Yeah. And so, like, you you having an argument or a discussion, and the sister, blah, 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 and the brother, they all mush mouth. Oh, what, brother? Right? What? And then the brother, go off and punch the sister or whatever. One of the scariest things for me in this matter, is marriage to a sister who, even if she isn't superior to me in knowledge, will hold me to a standard she herself will not uphold. This may fall into hypocrisy. That's the worst thing that I fear. Yeah, and the Muslim holds himself to a higher standard, or expects more, is harder on himself than he or she is on a Muslim brother or sister. See, for our brothers and sisters, we supposed to make excuses for them, but for us, we supposed to be hard on ourselves.
Right? Because a lot of times issues is you.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get that. We have it backwards. We easy on ourselves and hard on the other one. Like, brother, A'udhu Billah. You watch movies, you listen to music, Astaghfirullah Azim, right? And then you catch the brother, he at the movies, he listening to music, right? He was just, wait a minute, you just criticizing me, like the story that cracks me up. Brothers it was one of these holidays. I think it was Thanksgiving. Yeah, it was Thanksgiving, I think. The brother was giving a whole talk against Thanksgiving. And another brother, his companion, was supposed to go print out a fatwa from a sheikh, outlawing Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And it took the brother so long to get back to the masjid with the fatwa printed out so he could read it at the lecture. The reason why he was so late and took him so long coming back to the masjid, because he stopped at his family house to get Thanksgiving dinner, picking up the fatwa, all right, with Thanksgiving. I mean, this type of people we are. We playing games, right?
Wow.
And so, we hard on other people, but we easy on ourselves, and it's supposed to be the other way around.
Right.
It's definitely supposed to be the other way around.
And you gotta show mercy as well. Like I said, everybody's on different levels. Sometimes you have to exercise patience, regardless, the people that's involved. You gotta exercise some patience, but somebody that's, sincere, and someone that's, is playing, you're gonna, give your less time to that, less, the one that's insincere. I mean, not serious, to the one that's serious.
Right.
You're gonna, invest more time with them, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a marriage.
Right.
And that person that's insincere and they playing and they think, oh, I got all the time in the world to get myself together. I'm like, listen, life is too short. Like right now, it's so real that a lot of the youth are not going to live past, not even going to reach our age. We're not even that old.
Yeah. At least I'm not.
We're not that old, but it's real serious. And so they feel like they have all the time in the world, and it's not. You gotta make it, take advantage all the time. And sometimes, it's time to relax and things like that, but you just have to, stay focused, because it's easy to get distracted and be, doing things that's not any of benefit to you, especially if you have a family, if you have children and things like that. It's easy to get distracted when it's so much that's, dependent on you, so.
Smile said, my wife definitely has a sharp tongue. I'm telling her, you threw under the bus. She asked me, do I think about hitting her? I said no, because that is not the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. Hitting will, change you. I know I need to educate my wife and family. That's difficult when you're trying to earn a living. Yeah, wa alaikum salam to that. It's definitely hard, because, like, I remember decades ago, I used to have class, what about teachers, 4 hours at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. It's like it's less and less barakat with time now.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It wasn't like I was unemployed sitting in the masjid. Then I'm working then too, right? But I got classes every other day, sitting in long intensive classes every week, going to Islamic lectures every weekend. But now it seems like, with the
There's
same
no
24
time
hours,
for
we have, less time to do all that. And I just wanted to mention, if I don't want to neglect to mention that as a couple, a Muslim husband and wife, a lot of times, a lot of sisters feel like, they feel some distance from their husband. They feel like, my husband don't pay me any attention. He's off into his Islamic thing. He's all he cares about is seeking knowledge and everything like that. The best way to get around that is to be involved in the process.
Join them.
Right? Like for example, you have brothers, for example, who are active in the masjid. Their wives aren't. They don't really have no care for the masjid, the community, and the class of knowledge or anything. And they're like, when you gonna be finished at the masjid, with your brothers, at the boys' club. That's what some sisters call it, at the boys' club. I need some time. That's problematic, because one of the people who will have Allah's protection, Allah's shade, on the day when there will be no shade except His shade, is the one whose heart is attached to the masjid. And so it will be wise for a sister, or in some cases the brother, however it applies, if your spouse is active in learning or teaching or at the masjid, etc., your heart should be attached to it too.
Spend time with him there. If that's what you need, if that's necessarily what you need, attention, and you need to be around them, then join in with their, your likes and their, interests,
Because a person's only going to do what they love. Right? And so the secret of getting someone's love is to attach yourself also to the thing that they love. You understand? So like if a brother or a sister is serious and loves seeking knowledge, and you want the love of that person, attach yourself to seeking knowledge as well.
But she has rights on him too. Yes, that is true, but his Allah's rights over him is more than his family. What I mean by that, like Juma. You'll have sisters that don't want the brother to go to Juma. He might work all week long and be off at Juma, and she'd rather him home with her than to be at Juma where, he's, commanded to attend.
Right.
So it has to be a balance. Now, we're not saying like he's studying like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He don't never get to see his family. No, but he need to come to the masjid. He need to gain some knowledge to bring back to the family. You understand? Like he can't grow if he's not allowed to get that knowledge, and you should support him in that. But if it's like, he's at the masjid, be at the masjid too. Attend some classes wherever you are, if there's available. And, spend time with him that way. I ain't going that far. I'll see him when he gets back from you. Alhamdulillah, because some people are just selfish like that. They don't care. They do not care.
They don't want them going to the masjid for no classes.
They don't want to do nothing. Yeah. They don't want to do nothing. And it applies to the brothers too. They don't have anything really to do with knowledge, but y'all could be at the stream too. Say you have babies. Like I had, I birthed six children. And so, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying, I've seen where, sisters had a husband. She's birthing these children. And he's like getting jealous of the time that she's spending with the children and taking care of them. That is your children. How are you getting jealous of your children? No, you need to spend time with me. You always doing diapers and making bottles and
that's real.
That's crazy.
A lot of men in general get jealous of their children.
Yeah, get jealous that she's doing that. Listen, help her. Pitch in or what have you. This is not a woman's thing. This is not a woman's job or woman's position. That's your seed. You need to take care of her too. You understand? Sometimes the baby got to sleep in the bed with y'all. You might get mad because the baby sleep with you, but things like that. Like, we have to look at the situation and see what's realistic in your situation, because every situation is different. You understand? Every situation. So, mashallah, is what you make it. You know what I mean? But we have to give some time to gain in knowledge. It don't have to be 24/7 or what have you. We have to make time. Our time is so tight. What I've noticed, and what will help, I don't know if you do it. She said, you better help with them kids. We spend free time so we can spend free time together. That's right. Is to write down a list. Get a calendar, and write down your day. Like, write down what you actually do every day. You'll be surprised how much time you have free. Because the shaitan will make you feel like, oh, you don't have time. Like, it's encouraged to read Surah Al-Kahf, right? For Juma, right? To be protected from the Dajjal when he comes, right? Or
Hen said, why y'all can't see my comments? Well, we can see them now.
Oh, we see it now. We ain't been seeing it. You must have been on my page, because I do have the party thing. Let me look over here. But yeah, so let me look over there. Hold on,
because I'm gonna create a watch party and then not watch for comments.
Okay, here we go. I'm sorry, y'all. I got some comments over here. Walaikum assalam to Levi Katu, Sister Hen, and Samaya. And Samaya said, I've been told I have too much knowledge and study too much. I don't know who would say something like that. And then she said, I think it's beautiful when couples learn together or are able to share something new that they learned or even teach to the spouse. Alhamdulillah. And I'm definitely not on my husband level, LOL, but I'm definitely stronger than 2010. Alhamdulillah. But yeah.
This is one of my top students back here, right here.
MashaAllah.
Even from early back then.
That's my first teacher in Islam, this one right here. That was the terms of our marriage. Like, people you talking trash about sisters, they marry, like, I want him to teach my deen. It's like a slogan, but for me, I was sincere about that back in 97. No, 98. We married in 98. Yeah. But 97, and I took Shahada in 98, when we finally got together. I'm like, hey, I need you to teach my deen. And that's what he did, And so you have what you intended. Now, you have mentioned about doing what you love. What you have mentioned about doing what you love. Now, if you don't love a thing, you're not going to see the importance of it, and you're not going to enjoy it. And you're going to be a obstacle in that person's way when they are trying to gain knowledge. You don't want to be that person. And you got to check yourself. Like, listen, is his hereafter more important than you? Yes, it is. Vice versa. Your hereafter is more important than. When I say that, you should be involving yourself in those things that's going to help y'all be Allah to be pleased with you. And in return, you be pleased with each other. That would be the glue that glues y'all together, that keeps y'all together. Yeah. SubhanAllah. I'd rather him be at the masjid
than in the street.
That's right. And ooh, child, you right. I got him when he comes in. I guess.
Some of y'all will be surprised how many sisters have a problem with that. And I think that also comes from people not being honest with themselves or to their prospective spouse before they get married. Because some sisters and some brothers pretend that they about knowledge and they really gung-ho about this deen, and then y'all get married, and then you find out that one of y'all was just doing that, to attract the other.
Just to get in there.
And you really find out there's incompatibility there.
Exactly.
My wife is not really into the masjid, but she is open to learning whenever I want to teach. She has said I'm not consistent teaching, but I try. It's funny, whenever my stepson and I are at the masjid, we run into her friends at the masjid. They recognize us and ask him to give us salams. Alhamdulillah. We follow Sheikh Uthman Dan Fodio, to Ghamadahu bi rahmati ameen. And one of the issues during his time was that the evil scholars during his period tried to put up all types of roadblocks for women not learning. And so he had to actually give fatwas. He wrote books and sections of books expressing how it's obligatory for a woman to learn her fard ayn.
Mm-hmm.
And if her husband can't teach it to her or facilitate her to get it taught, she has the obligation to leave the house without his permission to go seek that obligatory knowledge.
Right.
Now, when you look at all the proofs and stuff he brought, he would just teach you basic Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But when you see people write historically on the Shehu, you find out this was like a revolutionary fatwa that he gave, you know, telling the women that they can disobey their husbands and go out of the house to learn, to seek knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But we living in times now, it's like, subhanAllah, like, you know, the Sheikh would have to give a fatwa now about, you know, at least in my experience, commanding the brothers to go seek knowledge.
They don't want to. They want to be on the Xbox and stuff. Yeah. And nothing wrong with the Xbox. I don't want to be stepped on nobody's toes, but you got to seek knowledge as well. You have an obligation as a man, you know, as a rijal.
And Bettina also said, I'm not big on going to the masjid either. And the deep thing about it is when you study how, quote unquote, Islamic life is supposed to be, mm-hmm. the masjid, even though it's supposed to have comfortable places for women and everything, is really more obligatory for the man to go.
Right.
The wife is supposed to have a space mm-hmm. in her home, for lack of better words, like her private masjid, her prayer room.
Right.
Right? And even though it's permissible, obviously, for the man to be home, mm-hmm. the place that he's supposed to be, obviously during daylight hours and prayer hours, is the masjid.
Right.
And a lot of us, we really don't know, and a lot of scholars are really not teaching how serious it is for a brother not to pray in the masjid. And just to mention, like, people joke about it, but the Prophet ﷺ said, I wish that I could have one of y'all lead the salah. And I go to the houses of those men who refuse to come out for the prayer, congregational prayer, and burn their houses down. That's how serious it is.
SubhanAllah.
Most of the classical scholars say that if a man does not pray in the masjid without an excuse, his prayer is not even valid. I mean, it's that heavy, but scholars ain't teaching stuff. Yeah. There's a lot of subjects that scholars kind of like skate over because they don't want to make it hardship on a lot of people because a lot of people ain't doing it. And so like there's a lot of subjects that they skate over like that. Mm-hmm. And they don't really emphasize how much a lot of us are out of pocket, right? Mm-hmm. But the point that I'm trying to make is that the masjid, if you look at what the masjid represents for the man and the family, mm-hmm. one scholar, he gave it a parable. He said that the masjid is like a power bank or like a power station. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we have trouble in our homes and our families because our batteries are dying. Mm-hmm. They're not getting charged up. A lot of us don't recognize that the masjid is the outlet. Mm-hmm. The masjid is the power station. The masjid is the the charger for your cell phone. Right. When the brother goes to the masjid, right, and makes his prayer in congregation, gets those 27 extra blessings, mm-hmm. and all of the rewards accompanying going to the masjid and walk to the masjid, all of these things that we look over, right? That we overlook. Mm-hmm. He's loading up on barakah, energy, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And then when that husband goes home, that energy diffuses throughout his family. Nice. So he charges on a spiritual level. He charges up his whole family just by him going to the masjid. Right. And so I'm saying all of that to say that when sisters say that, I don't really go to the masjid that much, you shouldn't be saying it or like putting yourself down. That's really not your place. Right. Right? Like the sister mentioned that she has an autistic son. Right. Like, that's understandable, right, Bettina. Yeah. Like, the woman's masjid is her house. Right. But yet the Prophet ﷺ said, don't prevent them from going to the masjid. Right. If she wants to go, don't stop her. Exactly. But her power base is at home. Mm-hmm. And so, but that's the key. That I mention all that to show how the husband's job is to teach his wife. And if he's not when we talk about teach, we talk about the fard ayn, the basic stuff that every Muslim should know.
Right.
Right? And if for some reason he can't do it, he has to facilitate it.
Right.
Maybe your wife don't want to come out or she can't come out. Bring someone to the house if you can't do it. Like, but it's the husband's job. And the proof behind that is easy. The ayat is easy for y'all to remember. 66:6. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ku anfusakum wa ahlikum naran. O you who believe, save yourselves and your families from the fire. Look up the commentary, any tafsir on that verse. They're all going to tell you basically the same thing. That a person saves after saving himself, he saves his family by teaching them and rearing them to be ta'lim wa ta'deeb. By teaching them, and it's hard to translate that word, but giving them adab, mannerisms, upbringing, whatever.
Right.
It's hard to translate that, right? But that's how you save your family. So it's the husband's obligation to teach his family, or if he can't do it himself, facilitate it, right? So I want to go back on some of these comments.
Okay. And then while you're doing that, think about the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That's who we, should pattern ourselves, our lives behind. What was the first thing that was built when he went to Medina? Was a masjid. That was the first thing he built. You know what I mean? They could have just built homes, somewhere to sleep at. But no, it was the masjid. And we know, what do you do in the masjid? Masjid is the place of worship, right? The place of prayer. What happens? You pray in it, right? And that happens to be the first thing that we're going to be questioned on, is our prayers. That's how serious it is.
And said, true, even if I didn't want to learn, I'm forced because I want my kids upon the truth. It breaks your heart down learning Islam. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to brag about to my non-Muslim friends. This may not be a good motivation, but it's mine. Making sure my kids know and practice Islam, and in turn it pleases my husband and keeps us on a page where we can thrive. Definitely. Alhamdulillah.
If there's nothing else, Allah says in Quran, and I'm just paraphrasing about, you may hate a thing, but there's much good in it. Your husband may not like your tongue, but you on your deen. You want to learn. You understand what I'm saying? That should refine you. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's something to offset that. Yeah. And when you sincerely learn and that deen enters your heart and you are content with the law and with this deen, then it will transform you. Well, if it's law's permission, it will transform you so that you can be a better spouse. You can be a better person and such.
Malik said, and when the husband and wife seek knowledge, it's seen by the children. I thank Allah for my father. May Allah bless your father. Alhamdulillah. Rahman Bey. Allahu Akbar. In my teen years, I seen him going to pray at the masjid and seeking knowledge, and it ignited a flame in me. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
I have a son. I have a son with autism who doesn't like to sit still, and I don't want to take him and be shushed and stared at, as has happened in the past, for something that is beyond his or my control. I refuse to beat on him or chastise my son for the approval of attendees. That kind of stuff. It irks me because people always assume and you're like, talk to the sister, man.
Yeah, see what's going on. It'd be a nice thing, and I know this. Not every community has this, where you can build an area for special needs children, whether they're whatever needs that they have, so that the women can attend. You know what I'm saying? And have, the lectures or what have you, the Jumu'ah Khutbah playing over the speakers, but you're at the masjid. But sometimes the sisters need a charge too. Day in and day out doing, the same mundane things. It does wear on you. You know what I'm saying? And there's certain things that you have to do. You have to have an outlet, a halal outlet. Because some people have outlets that's not conducive to the situation, and we're not going to go there. But the masjid is one of those places that you can do that. And you don't have to be in the masjid 24/7 or anything like that. Somebody needs to be at the masjid and somebody needs to be in the street. call into this deen, you know.
Hussein said, so the women really are the rulers of the house, huh? Yeah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Amaratu al-mar'atu ra'iyatun fi bayti zawjiha wa mas'ulatun an ra'iyatiha." That the women are the shepherds in their husbands' homes, and they will be questioned about their flock. So they have some rulership, leadership, and some responsibility that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to question them about in that house.
Yeah, subhanAllah. So everybody has a position to play, a role, and one role is no more important than the other roles. Like us as women and men,
right?
We all going to be, judged upon our roles and what we did. You know what I'm saying? So your deeds is not going to be superior to mine because you are a man.
Right.
It's about taqwa. What did you prohibit? What did you do to make sure that you stayed away from those things that were prohibited by Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And what were those things that you enjoined that were encouraged by Allah and His Messenger? SubhanAllah.
So I know for me, learning consistently, is extremely important. And just to be content where I'm at is a deal breaker, something that will turn me off from a person. Alhamdulillah. I want to ask you a question. And I told you these broadcasts we doing, we don't script them, we don't sit.
Don't be putting me on the spot.
So she don't know what I'm about to ask her right now.
I don't know.
Last week, Saturday, we were in class.
Yep.
Teacher Imam Muhammad. Give me one thing that you got out of the class.
One thing that I got out of the class. Well, we were covering the Akida book of Tahawiyah. And the one thing that stuck out to me more than anything, because it's something that the word that I use, the phrase, inshallah. And that we are encouraged to say that when we intend a thing. But in using that term, we have to be careful. And this, I don't want to go into a long spill because this is really deep. But basically, when we say inshallah, we shouldn't say that with intent that Allah, if He decide to do it, you know what I'm saying? Like it had not already been written. But if it is to be written down, then it'll happen. No. Everything has already been willed by Allah. So when you say inshallah, if Allah willed it to be, it will be. And if He willed it not to be, it will not be.
So in other words, for example, when we translate inshallah, we shouldn't translate it as if Allah wills. We should translate it in the past tense. If Allah willed, because Allah is outside of time and place.
Right.
And so whatever Allah willed, He already did it.
He's already did it. Because Allah, and that goes to Him, His essence. Allah exists, right? Always existed. He doesn't have a beginning for His existence like we are. Right. That's what makes us different from our Creator. That's what attracted me to this deen, that there was a higher power that did not look like me. Like, you hear, other religions. And this is not to downplay because we're not supposed to, trash another religion. Yeah. But, God, created, I forgot how to say, God created man in His own image. That means we are alike in some sort. I don't want to be like my God. Yeah. He should, that my God should have power over me. Have control of everything, know everything, and things like that, which would just like blow your mind if you really think about it. But to know who Allah is and the correct understanding, I think that would solve a whole lot of issues with people and how they're supposed to be.